Welcome to Learning in Limestone. Our goal, success for all.
Students here at Rideau Heights Public School are engaged in a one-year-long program that's based off of building knowledge and understanding of Indigenous cultures and traditions on our journey towards truth and reconciliation. Over the course of the school year, grades 7 and 8 students have been examining the history curriculum through the following questions. Who are the missing voices in Canadian history with a focus on Indigenous experience? And examining the bias and perspective by asking, who's telling the story? Is someone telling their own story? Is the story being told about them? What are the objectives and outcomes that you hope the students discover?
Well, we're hoping that kids will learn alternative histories. So to the great degree, the history that we have in our textbook is told from a white male perspective. So there's a lot of missing voices, and this year we chose to focus on the Indigenous voice. And we use the example of, you may have a grade 7 and 8 class, but not one child gets to speak for everyone in there, and they would actually be quite offended if they did, right?
How do you think the students are receiving this educational journey?
There was a lot of engagement. When I first came, they were like, we hate history. And I said, well, if I went and just made you memorize facts that you can find online, that's not very interactive, and I can see why that's boring, and you're probably not going to remember it aside from what you remember for a test. So we really tried to dig into that idea that the way things are being told, the way we're looking at history is changing, and that they have an opportunity to be a generation that goes out there and tells the story differently, that has information that coming through schools, kids haven't had up until now. Like I certainly didn't, and even when I look at my teaching practices, you know, X number of years ago, it's changed and it's been a journey, and I'm learning alongside them. And so this idea that they're empowered to speak, they're empowered to go out there and make a change. And they're making personal connections to, for example, what's happening in the States with the shooting in Florida, and how kids are coming up and they're having really strong voices. So they're feeling empowered to be a part of that journey, and so they've engaged fairly deeply in that.
How do you think the students are reacting to the project?
The students are having a ball. They are singing their songs, they're learning their songs, they're all partaking. There's about 40 of them in the group between two classes. And when I see them, they're really like, you know, running and happy to say, yeah, you know, we're doing it again today. And yeah, they're really into it. Yeah, I think they've really, and we learned a lot. And not so much that they feel, you know, sad about it, because there is a lot to feel sad about, but yet to know that this is not happening anymore, and that to learn the truth of what has happened, and that not only the past, but now in the present, that we can live on and make things better for the Aboriginal people.
What kind of work went into this project with all your other classmates?
Well, it started off with our subject, which we were working on Indigenous heroes. And the project was, we were going to write 3 songs and work on the mural, which is in the hall.
Do you think this was overall a positive experience for you and your classmates?
Yes, it was very positive. We got to learn a lot of new things. We got to learn more about the Indigenous culture.
What was the song Earth, Wind, and Fire based off of?
It was based off how some Indigenous tribes were connected to an element. So we pieced them together, and between 30 students, including me, we came up with ideas to create a song with it.
You've been working very hard with your classmates on producing this song. What are the next steps for the project, and where do you want it to go?
We're actually going to go to a recording studio Monday, which is really cool because it's going to be my first time, and basically we're just going to record and turn it into a CD.
So Faith, tell me about the history behind this wall.
This wall is representing how the Indigenous people lived back in the past, and then this is representing the modern. It's like representing that Indigenous culture isn't just a part of the past, and it's modern.
So how do you feel about the program?
Well, it was a really good learning. It was really helpful because I didn't know a lot about it, and doing the mural and watching Maureen paint and describe about how Native people and their culture, how it got forgotten and how we can forgive but not forget.
Frank discussions, research into equity and equality, and talking are all important aspects of this project. By learning from the mistakes of the past, we ensure that we will not repeat them in the future.
Learning in Limestone is brought to you by the Limestone District School Board.